Hello and welcome to Subway NIBFA today. I'm Barry Green. We've got more of February's action on the way in the shape of 2 National League Knockout Cup matches and 2 NIBFA Cup games from the last fortnight. We'll also bring you news of the presentation of the trophy for the January Goal of the Month, so do stay tuned for that. Today we'll be joined by former Oldham player and now Warrenpoint Town player manager Matthew Tipton. Matthew has also been involved with Ridgeway Rovers in recent seasons and will be giving his opinion on our 4 featured games. First up, we go to Crumlin Leisure Centre for an under-15 National League Knockout Cup match that features Cliftonville and Glenavon. On commentary for us, it's Johnny Martin.
Cliftonville and Glenavon under-15s met in the League Cup, with the tie being played in Crumlin, Glenavon kicking off in the blue and Cliftonville in the red. In a tight opening first half, the Lurgan Blues had the first strike of note. This long-range free kick tested Thomas Lavery in the Cliftonville goal, who saved with ease. Cliftonville took the lead in the 10th minute when Dylan Sinnerton hammered home from the edge of the box, and his shot was too powerful for Mackenzie Polly in the Glenavon net to handle. 1-0. 1-0 almost became 2-0 minutes later when a flowing move involving Aaron Gallagher and Billy Joe McQuiston led to a shooting opportunity, but Cliftonville had to settle for a corner. Glenavon were still very much in the game. This cross from Matthew Lawler allowed Ryan Walsh a shot inside the area, but he couldn't keep his effort down. From a Glenavon corner, Cliftonville pressed and launched a counter-attack. Goal scorer Dylan Sinnerton winning the ball back on the halfway line before passing to Dermot O'Hanlon, who squared the ball for Cliftonville to side foot home their second. 2-0. Cliftonville 2-0 ahead were playing with confidence, and Glenavon keeper Mackenzie Polly had to be alert to tip over this dangerous cross from Aaron Gallagher. At full time it finished Cliftonville 2, Glenavon 0. Cliftonville progressed to the next round.
Well, I'm delighted to say I've been joined by Warrenpoint Town player manager Matthew Tipton. Matthew, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Matthew, you had a successful playing career with Oldham before coming to the Irish League. You've now moved into management. Which do you prefer?
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed my playing career. No, I wouldn't lie. I had a good 15 years playing full-time in England and probably 500 league games. So all of that was, enjoyable. And then coming here, I really did enjoy my brief time, as a player. But I'm loving the management side of it, if I'm honest. It's something over the last few years, my playing career I'd targeted doing. Obviously, done my coaching badges and was actually coaching, on a daily basis. So it was the thought of doing it, and now it's everything that I expected and more, and I'm delighted that I'm going so well. The
focus here is obviously on youth, and you're a great exponent of nurturing through young talent. Just how important is youth development nowadays, particularly at a club like Warrenpoint?
Well, it's massive. It's the be all and end all, if I'm being honest. We have to produce our own players, and that goes for all the clubs in Northern End. You produce them for your own. Then they're brought up in your style of play, your DNA, if you like, how you want them to play, how you want them to develop as footballers and as people, and you have a great input in that from whatever age they come into the football club, and it's something we're really working hard at the minute at Warrenpoint. We're trying to really get the youth department in sync with what I want to do at first team level.
Do you see an improvement in the game nowadays, particularly at youth level, compared to when you were playing?
Do I? No. It's harsh. What I think now is there's too many.
Okay.
There's too many teams. I think the quality then gets diluted. Obviously, I know yourself and I know other people who played here. There wouldn't have been as many teams. If I speak to obviously David Miskelly, who's my assistant manager, there was only really Dungoyne and Lisbon youth. So it was it was real concentrated. There wasn't much. Now there's hundreds of teams in the same area, so maybe I think that maybe helps dilute the standard. Obviously, then as you're getting up the age groups, it starts getting condensed towards the boys going towards Irish League clubs, maybe at under 15, under 16, under 18. At the younger age groups, the quality isn't as good, I don't think, as what it should be. Or could be.
Yeah, it's refreshing to hear that. Hopefully you thought that our first game, the Cliftonville and Glenavon under 15 game, there was good quality in that. Now, Dylan Sinnerton's goal, it was well struck, but should the goalkeeper probably have done slightly better?
No, I think we can get in a habit of keeper bashing.
Yeah.
I think that you've got to give credit. Look, he showed a great turn of pace to get away from the defender initially. And then he's done what you would always encourage a striker to do, with the laces across the keeper. And then, look, the keeper's gone full length, and it's just kind of gone over the top of his wrist. Yeah. I think the power's beating him, the pace and power of the ball, and like I said, it's gone across him. He hasn't got much chance.
It was a good goal. The goal scorer then, he was involved centrally for the second goal. He did well there, didn't he?
He done really well because what he's done is what you want your centre forward to. He's pressed the ball off their midfielder, but then, with young fellas, sometimes you'd see the temptation. I know definitely if I'd have won it there, I would have maybe wanted to go and take somebody else. Somebody's used great awareness, played it into the left winger who's put a good ball across the goal. Good win. Well, yeah, look, Glenavon and Cliftonville, two teams who are heavily based on youth. I know a lot of people at Glenavon and the way that they do it, and I know they probably some of them under 15s had played under 18 football and under 20s football, as their manager alluded to after the game. And it's refreshing to see. Yeah. Look, they're not bothered about the result at Glenavon so much. They're more about how many players can we quickly get through, up and up and up. And if you're 15 and you're playing under 18s, under 20s football, it's only going to help you. Yeah. Thanks, Matthew, for the moment. With that win, Cliftonville progress at the expense of Glenavon into round 3 of the competition. Now, for our second game, we feature the informed Ards, who took on Linfield in the Under-18 Knockout Cup. This one turned out to be a stroll in the park for the Blues at the Dub in Belfast. Let's take a look.
Ards and Linfield met in the quarter-finals of the Under-18 National League Knockout Cup at the Dub in Belfast in what turned out to be a very one-sided affair, Linfield in white and Ards in the red and blue. Ards weren't long in mounting the game's first meaningful attack. Hesitation from Ross Weatherup allowed Dylan Galbraith a shot on goal, but it was tame and it was also off target. At the other end, Adam Carroll toyed with Nick Truick, laying off to Ben Wiley. His snapshot failed, however, to trouble Corey Pollock. Pollock then was partially at fault for Linfield's opener. Rory O'Hare drove this free kick towards the Ards box. Ethan Wynne attempted to flick the ball on, but the ball went directly past the Ards goalkeeper into the net, 1-0 to the Blues with just 11 minutes on the clock. The second goal arrived just 2 minutes later, again from O'Hare, who met Callum McVeigh's corner from inside the 6-yard box. Linfield were making Ards do all the running, and no surprises, they got a third after 27 minutes. Try Hume slid a pass to Ben Wiley, who showed some neat footwork, some great skill on the edge of the box before slotting under Pollock, and at this point it was a stroll in the park for a dominant Linfield side. Wiley's free kick then brought about a fourth goal before half-time. Weatherup kept it in. The ball eventually made its way to Adam Carroll, who dispatched into the top corner. There really aren't too many goalkeepers in the country who could have kept that ball out. Now into the second half, and Ards were determined to get on the score sheet. Ryan Tweedy on this occasion played the pass to Ross Ferguson, who shot straight at Scott Pengali. A couple of minutes later, Ards had 2 efforts on goal, first through Sam Dinu, whose shot was charged down. Blake Bickerstaff's follow-up whizzed narrowly wide with the help of a slight deflection. By now, the passage into the semi-finals was all but secure for Linfield, who were determined on the evening not to concede. With 7 minutes to play, Lewis Quinn seized upon a slack back pass in defence to set up Adam Carroll, who finished in style, to ensure it's Linfield who go into the semi-finals. Full time from the dub. It finished Ards 0, Linfield 5.
Well, Matthew, Ards went into that match in excellent form. The Blues, however, they swept them aside under the floodlights.
Yeah, look, and I think whilst Ards have been in great form there, they would predominantly have an under-18 team in the squad. I know John Murray and I know a lot of the players because a lot of them would have been at Ridgeway with us there, and I sort of coached them, but Linfield, they can pick and choose their games when they decide, and obviously there's been an NIBFA Cup match.
Priority, yeah.
They'll want to win that.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the weeks that them boys might be up playing in the Linfield reserve team, or they might have been playing the under-16 to see Ben Wiley scored. Obviously he's no 2, Trey Hume was playing, Callum McVeigh, who had coached at Ridgeway. These are all under-16 players, but they're real good under-16 players, and they moved them up. And look, Linfield can do that when they pick and choose what they want to win. They will win, and if, truth be told, if they really decide they wanted to win the under-18 league, they could. But the fact is they move a lot of their players up, and they don't play 2 games at the weekend, so they might have kept some at the 16s that week, and some might move from the 18s to the 20s, so they'd probably never have a settled team week in, week out, and that's maybe why they're not top of the league. And Ards seem to have a settled team, and they've done really well. Look, John, I know, is doing a great job at Ards, but Linfield, we've just seen, they are a joy to behold when they all go and it all clicks for them. Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of their players, 2 people who you know as well. Rory O'Hare, centre half, scores 2 goals, and Adam Carroll, the finish for the second goal.
Superb, wasn't it?
Quality.
I think if we talk about Rory first, the free kick, he's put it in a good area. Look, it wasn't a great goal, and the goalkeeper won't be too happy with that. The defence won't be too happy because they were maybe on top of him, and that's the reason why it went in. But the second goal I was really impressed by, because he showed a desire to go and attack a ball inside the penalty area from a great corner, and he wanted it more than everybody else, and he's really stuck it in. And if you look at Linfield's first team, you'd see a lot of the centre half scoring them type of goals as well. This similar type of corner, drilled in as an outswinger and a centre half, really wanting to get there. Yeah. With Adam Carroll's goal, it was such a class, wasn't it? Look, the fella's done well. I'm not too sure who he intercepts the pass. Ards won't be too happy with that, a sloppy square ball, but once it slipped to Adam, he's ran onto it, and it wasn't easy.
Well, as a striker how hard that finish is.
Because the way he's had to arc his run around the ball, and naturally it should have been on his left foot, because the way the angle of his run. So to open himself up and then still manage to scoop it with the outside of his right foot, really that could have gone anywhere, but he was in total control of it, and it was really good to see. Look, I suppose if it was 0-0 or 1-0, would he have done it at 4-0? It was good to see. And fair play to the kid, because it's good to see good finishes like that.
It's good, thanks Matthew. That 5-0 success puts Linfield into the Cup semi-finals. Now it's time for our half-time team talk feature, where we get hints and tips from our expert to improve your game. Matthew, you're in the hot seat today. In terms of advice then for young upcoming players, you have a young son, obviously. He's making his way through the game. What do you tell him, and what would you tell others? What would the advice be?
I don't tell George too much. I just kind of let him go, because as a parent to a son, it doesn't always come across great if I'm trying to coach him, in that way, because it isn't, we have a different relationship. But in general, I want the boys to enjoy themselves first and foremost. At whatever level I'm coaching at, I always believe that enjoyment should come first. And when they're out in the field, I want them to go and excite me. It's something I say, and I say it at first team level, and I say it right the way down. Go and show me the wee little things like what Adam Carroll's done. That excites me. Go and do stuff like that. Obviously, effort is everything in football. You have to make sure, but without that God-given ability, it doesn't matter how hard you try. I love snooker, but I'm no good at it. It doesn't matter how hard I try to play. You need the ability to do it, but then you have to ally that obviously with the effort and the endeavour.
But as a coach, what you're saying to me is you're happy enough for somebody seeing, say, Ronaldo with a couple of step overs actually then trying that out on the pitch on a Saturday.
And I actively encourage that, and when I do the stuff that I do at Ridgeway, which the player development programme, we want individuals in the game. We want somebody to go and beat them. There's nothing worse. It's the worst shout I ever hear at the sideline. You hear parents, coaches shouting, pass, pass, pass. What does that mean? Who do you want them to pass to? People have been fixated with this Barcelona style of play, and look, if you went to watch Barcelona training at under 6, under 8, under 10s, it's not this. You know, they want them individuals to go and explore. The more touches the kids get on the ball, the better they'll be. So the only way we can encourage them to get more touches on it is by showing them dribbling techniques, different manoeuvres on the ball, and then they will develop the ability to pass because they will be comfortable in possession of the football. But you can't get comfortable without the ball. So when you see somebody telling them to pass it all the time, if I'm telling under 6 and under 8 to pass the ball, is the player that he's passing too comfortable to receive it?
Yeah.
Probably not, because he's never done the foundation work, which is getting the touches on the ball. And children need as many touches of the ball as possible, and up to even under 13 probably, I wouldn't be so bothered if they didn't pass the whole game. I honestly wouldn't. And people think that I'm crazy, but I've went and I've studied academies. I've been over at academies in England when I lived there. I've been there now, and I speak to people that are running them. Manchester United don't tell their children to pass it until they're after the age of 12. They said they'll soon realise, look, if there's 4 people around them and they run into them, they'll have to learn not to. Either get through them or they will eventually pass. So what we want to, that's what I'm talking, go back to the excitement thing. What gets you off your feet? No harm. I want to see Lionel Messi dribbling past somebody. I want to see Ronaldo beating somebody. Gareth Bale getting down the wing. You know, Liverpool at the minute have Mo Salah. You know, he's direct. He's going at people. That's what fans pay the money for, and that's what we sit at home watching shows like this. We don't maybe look and say, oh, centre midfielder played a square ball there, but he kept it. Like whoever goes to watch that in a football match.
As a coach then, is there anything that you see during the game and it leaves you so frustrated? Is there something that you don't like to see players do?
Hate it when they just kick it out of play. We see it on one of the games there. The ball's gone down and it could have, you know, the centre-half's got it, there's nobody near him, he just kicks it out of play. Yeah. You were just giving possession of the football back to the other team. Be confident to take control of the ball and play. There should be no time in a game where you just kick it out for a throw-in or a goal kick or a corner kick, just because you feel like you're under pressure. I'm always worried when I see that happening. What is he getting coached? Why would you want to kick the ball out of play? Yeah. So that frustrates me.
Okay, so say for instance your centre back is under pressure from a striker, and the centre back, well, he's not overly confident, he's not a Rio Ferdinand type character, and he puts it into the stand. Are you happy enough in that scenario? No, you still want them to do something with it?
There's 11 players on the pitch. The goalkeeper, use the goalkeeper. There'll always be a scenario that you can get out. If he's not comfortable, what are you doing in training? Monday and Wednesday, Tuesday and Thursday, or whenever you train. Look, these are young children. Who has made them uncomfortable? Because they've turned up to play football. You can't. What's uncomfortable about it? They're not playing in front of 100,000 people at Wembley, and there's nothing to be won or lost. Make them comfortable. Put the practices on so the players, doesn't matter what position they play on the field, that they can retain the ball. The whole thing and the ethos is supposed to be at youth football, that the players can play in any position. So if you do that and truly believe that from the age of, you know, under 6s when they come and it's 5-a-side, let them run around on the pitch. You're not a centre half. When you turn up at football, nobody tells you you're a centre half. That only comes later on. So you should be comfortable with the ball at any position. So there should be no time that you're under that much pressure that you need to kick it out.
Well, I'm finding it refreshing to hear that, but that obviously comes from you with a lot of experience having played in the professional game. Let's talk about that for a minute. Give us a sense of your career highlight, what you feel having looked back on those 500 games. What was your highlight?
When I was playing, I would have probably said, oh, you know, this game or that game, or, you know, certain things, you know, winning. When I look back now, I suppose the biggest sense of pride is the fact that I did make it as a footballer. You know, it's a ruthless game, and you know, it is. If you're playing football at any age, you know, we watch these children here, each and every one of them. The dream will be to be a professional footballer, and from the age of 7 when I started playing, you know, it was always there, and I wanted to do it, and went to different clubs and everything else as, you know, professional. And then, so the highlight of my career was obviously just making it as a footballer, playing for my country, numerous times for Wales and under 18, under 21 level. I think, you know, at the beginning, you know, I wanted to get to the first team, and then I wanted to score a goal, and then I wanted to play, you know, whatever amount of games. And look, I didn't maybe reach the heights that I wanted to as a child. You know, I wanted to play in the World Cup and FA Cup finals and all that kind of thing. Look, I never reached them heights, but it still fills me with pride that I can look back on my career and go, you know what, I did make a decent fist of it, plenty of games. And I suppose overall, the whole thing is a highlight for me now. I'm just delighted that I managed to do it, and I've got the things, the memories to look back on.
Yeah, and now the focus for you has changed. You're now into management. Let's talk Warren Point then. What is the ambition this season? You are sitting in the lower half of what is a very, very competitive league.
Yeah. We're not where I wanted to be, because that's not in my nature. Mm-hmm. I don't see survival as a target. That's a loser's mentality for me, and it's not something to do, but we have to be realistic. We are the smallest club in the country. Yeah. We're the youngest club. Historically, we've only been going 30 years. Obviously, only been playing at Irish League level for the 4 years, and we had a year in the Championship there. So, as much as my targets would be higher and everything else, we have to be realistic as well. To stay in the Premier League is what we need to do, and we want to try and kick on now from a position of stability. Yeah. But we still need a few more wins, and we need to try and push up the table.
Thanks, Matthew.
No bother.
Thanks very much. You might remember from our last show, Sean Paul Murray from the IFA chose Keelan Cunningham's effort for Ards under-18s against Cliftonville as the winner of the Subway NIBFA Goal of the Month for January. John Higgins of Subway, Commonsbray on the Saintfield Road, met with Keelan and presented him with his award in his local Subway sandwich store last week. Well done again to Keelan. Now it's time for our final two matches. Next up, it's some nine-a-side action from Solitude. Cliftonville A's under-12s took on Oxford United Stars in round 4 of the NIBFA Cup. Mark Wesley is on commentary.
It was a cold night at Solitude for the under-12s of homeside Cliftonville as they took on Oxford United. Cliftonville in red, attacking the goal to our right. We didn't have long to wait for the first goal, an ejection of pace from Oxford's Colin McKay, leaving the Cliftonville defenders in his wake, and United were 1 up. Then from a free kick it was almost 2. The ball coming off the bar, Healy unable to get enough on it to beat the keeper, Hutchin also finding the side netting. Then from a Cliftonville corner, the home side were to equalise. Again the crossbar playing a part, the ball squeezed over the line by captain Colin Parker. Cliftonville were to take the lead in the game after a poor goal kick by the Oxford goalkeeper and some clever Cliftonville touches. First from number 7 Parker, then sheer grit and determination from Jake Harrison, who stood up to the advancing keeper to turn the ball past him. Cliftonville 2, Oxford 1. Oxford did have a chance to equalise before half-time, McKay stabbing a shot goalwards, then Devlin turning the Cliftonville defence before getting a tame shot away. After McKay hit the bar, the ball finished up in the arms of a grateful keeper. At half-time, Cliftonville 2, Oxford 1. Plenty of chances in the second half, and the pick of the opening exchanges coming from United. Jake Hutchin breaking on the near side, delivering a superb cross, and the sting in the tail delivered by Oxford's number 15 Michael Jones. Something he's no doubt worked tirelessly on. 2-2. Cliftonville on the back foot? Never. And when Connor Hockey pushed forward and spread the ball out wide, Cole Brannigan delivered a cross to seal Oxford's fate. Liam Burns on hand to slot the ball past the Oxford goalkeeper. The game finishing Cliftonville 3, Oxford United 2.
So Matthew, the nine-a-side format was introduced here in recent seasons to improve technical ability. Now, judging by what we saw in that game, it certainly seems to be working, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's good, isn't it? You're not expecting then young 10 and 11-year-old children to play on a full-size pitch because it's massive and it's daunting for them, and they get in the mindset, I think, then that goals, it's a long way for a wee boy, and they think then they have to slam everything to the further the ball goes from their goal, the better, which, that's the total opposite of what you want, really. If they retained the ball, it would help them get up the pitch. So now playing on a pitch like that, they're encouraged to play the 1-2s, they're encouraged to use the dribbling techniques, and we see it there. I think the boy who scores the goal, Michael Jones, it comes from what we chatted about earlier. It's brilliant wing play, isn't it? The winger, bit of pace, goes by somebody and puts a great ball in, and well, you can describe the finish.
It was a
Giroud-esque, it was superb. Look, he was falling. And a back heel overhead, a scorpion kick, I think, was the official title for it all years ago. And fair play to him, look, brilliant. And now the audience gets to see that, and that'll please that child for the rest of his life. You know, it'll be out there.
Yeah, quality goal, but all in all, you know, for me, I think still using the nets at that age group is the right decision. The difficulty for me is when I see those guys playing in a full-size pitch. Would you go along with that?
Oh, without doubt. Look, goalkeepers, they get a rough time at the, you know, it's an unforgiving job, isn't it? Because they'll always be blamed, whatever happens. But when they're playing there, look, it's asking an adult, you know, the boy might be 4 foot in an 8 foot high goal. Would you ask a 6 foot adult to play in a 12-foot goal?
Yeah.
People would think you were completely mental.
Yeah.
They would. They would just say, no, what are you doing? They've no chance of saving it. And what we see as they grow up, then there might be a boy who can hit it. And when he plays in a full-size goal, he just kicks it high. It's in the middle of the goal and everybody says, oh, such and such scored 4 today.
Yeah.
And you wonder, right, okay, and you keep your eye on them and you maybe go and watch them. And then you realise, well, he wouldn't score any of them. You know, what we're looking for is the little number 9, who's real small, might play him on a big pitch, he might get lost. You see him then the 9-a-side pitch, the goals he scores, he will continue to score them goals, he'll continue to make them runs, whatever age group he plays, and hopefully he does get a little bit bigger.
Fox in the box, isn't he? Yeah.
You'll always score them goals.
Yeah.
He's not relying on raw power to score a goal, because he's playing in the small net, he rolls it under the keeper, he follows up, he gets a parried one and knocks that in. And then you see Michael Jones with that goal. That's going to be a goal, isn't it, whatever?
Oh, it's quality.
So it's super. Look, he scored it in a wee goal. If he played that in a big goal, it would still be in. So it's really good for them, and it's encouraging to see that they're out and they're using the technical practices that they should be getting brought up on the small-sided games programme, which is what it's there for.
Excellent. Thank you. Now on to our final game this week, and it's another NIBFA Cup clash. It features Lurgan Town and Cliftonville's under-12B side. On commentary is Lord James.
Cliftonville B under-12s welcomed Lurgan Town to solitude on a very cold Friday night. Cliftonville in red and Lurgan in blue and black attacking the city end. Lurgan's Chris Heasley opened on just 3 minutes in the 9-a-side match before doubling just 5 minutes later thanks to some nifty assistance from Jesse Turner. The Reds showed some excellent creativity in dangerous areas. Augustus Barata standing out, dispossessing here Adam Furphy and finding space on the half pitch to engineer this cross for Josh Montgomery, but Fraser Cunningham was well warned. Lurgan bit back, however, the visitors demonstrating how silky their dribbling skills are when Turner turned to find Furphy, running on to cut back but hitting the side netting. Daniel Murphy showed some great control on the right flank before picking out Montgomery, who raced ahead to release a powerful shot, but his low drive was smothered by Cunningham. Responding, Bobby Harvey worked to force play up the other end, providing build-up for Turner's lovely finish into the bottom right corner. Trailing 3-0, but clearly not despondent, Cliftonville were not about to let the game escape them. Jay Marin and Adam McGarity played a 1-2 as the Reds neared to goal. A first attempt blocked, but the rebound falling sympathetically for Josh Montgomery. Now 3-1 with just 13 minutes gone. After the break, Lurgan were keen to ensure their lead wasn't going to be compromised. Eager to show their dominance on the smaller stage, Turner's beautiful footwork to slip past 3 red shirts and strike the post was a joy to watch. Heasley was on hand to collect the rebound, showing masterful technique to stay on his feet and in full control before returning it to Turner, who tested keeper Ethan McGill. Lurgan kept the pressure on and continued to do it in style. TJ Sheridan's delightful back heel helping to set up Liam Carroll to slot home from close range. Playing with real confidence, the visitors pushed on. Sheridan's cross intercepted at the back post, but in effortless fashion, Carroll skipped in to dispossess with his right foot and neatly finished with his left. Full-time Cliftonville 1, Lurgan 5.
Well, Matthew, a straightforward enough win for Lurgan Town, who were just too strong for that Cliftonville B team.
Look, they were a good team. They played some good stuff there. We could see all over the park. They were confident on the ball, and they had some good goals that they scored. Good attacking play. The first goal especially, I loved it. The winger on the outside of his fullback. At under 12 level, sometimes they don't pick out the right pass. Maybe he could have shot or whatever, but he had a bit of composure, squared the ball, and it was a great half volley finish from the second layoff. So yeah, I really like the look of them. Some of the players were really good.
Yeah, a couple of players, Liam Carroll and Jesse Turner, both managed 2 goals apiece in that 5-1 victory. They were impressive, weren't they?
They were. Both of them, Liam Carroll gets his 2 goals there. Exactly where I would have loved to see a centre forward score. And look, he's capitalised on 2 defensive errors inside the 6-yard box, near enough. Jesse Turner has scored 2. He's had a hand in 2 goals. I was also impressed with Chris Heasley, number 6. I thought he took his first goal well. We see him hitting another shot off. And then he has a good little bit of footwork in and around the 6-yard box around 2 or 3 people and uses the right pass. So there's promising times ahead for Logantown if they keep performing like that.
Great. Matthew, thanks very much for joining us today.
No
Hope you enjoyed
it. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Well, the win puts Lurgan into the quarter-finals and they now take on Cliftonville A on the 10th of March. We hope you enjoyed your time with us today as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again in a fortnight with another studio guest on hand to add their expertise. If you want to get in touch with us, you can drop us a line on Facebook or Twitter via the NIBFA or Exporte pages. Join us again in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you then.